Hello and welcome to 30 Minutes. I'm Patty Stalker. Today I'm sitting here with Den Poitras. Hi Den.
Howdy.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Oh, welcome.
So Den, you're coming here from Ayr?
Ashburnham.
Ashburnham.
Yep.
Ashburnham. Sorry about that. So you're a Shadowbox artist among other things. I know that the first time that you were here in our studios, you were on Local Music Rocks with Ike Celts.
Yeah.
As a part of J. Bob and Lefty.
That's right.
Today you're here as a Shadowbox artist.
Right.
Okay, explain to us, we can see this is some of your art, but explain to us what Shadowbox art actually is.
Right, well it is a medium that was used probably way back into the 1930s, but they were used to, is like a nostalgia, you know, they would glue actual objects, perhaps of Grandpa's old pocket watch and taxidermist type of creatures and old barnwood and things like that. So I just like the 3D setup, you know. It's like some of the displays you find in museums.
It's like a diorama
like
when
a
you were
diorama,
little,
right.
In a shoebox, but obviously far more.
Yeah. So I work with found objects. A lot of them I find at the beach, and I use driftwood, small pieces of driftwood, but I find myself picking up pieces of plastic that have been floating and corroding for who knows how many years, and I just have a sense of history about them. There's some stories that it suggests where they come from. And so I end up cleaning up the beaches as I gather objects.
All right.
And I find a lot of things in gutters and parking lots. And you know, toys that have been run over, flattened beer cans that have been run over hundreds and hundreds of times. And same thing, I have a sense of history, you know, like where did these objects come from? And I just fill up boxes and bags with them and bring them home, and then I build a shadow box. I'll start with an old frame.
Like an old picture frame?
Yeah, so I work backwards. You know, I start with the frame, and then I'll build a shadow box, you know, just by using the edges on the inside of a frame. I'll put strips of wood. Now this one was tricky. I had to use curved pieces of wood, so I had to cut them out individually, you know, on small pieces of boards until I got a nice oval. And then I glued them in the back, fitting them into that edge, and then I put a back of wood, thin wood like old paneling that I find as well.
So even the wood that you put along here is found wood, or is that something, it depends? The wood that you would put inside here where you said you had the...
Yeah, on the inside, yeah, sure, I'll use recycled wood.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'll just grab a whole bunch of stuff that's in my drawers that I have found over the years, and I'll just put them out on a drop cloth, and I'll just pick them at random and start gluing them. And it's a concept that masons use, which they call kissing. Like before they apply mortar, they'll take two stones and they'll have them kiss. So it's like if the stones more or less fit together, then they might have to make one little cut or a little chip, and then they add the mortar. So when the stones kiss and when my objects kiss, I'll glue them down. And I have no thought in mind about what I'm doing. I just like the way that the objects happen to come together. They chance together.
So your kissing concept is not trying to necessarily, because I've built stone walls, like my God, well, small ones. I mean, nothing too elaborate.
Right.
But so you know, I would try to find the stones that would, oh, that looks like that would fit together. Do you sort of see it in your head beforehand? Well, this might work with this, or do you literally just sort of grab and put it together?
Yeah, I'm grabbing and putting. And
okay.
And I might get a little more discriminate as it goes along because there's less space.
Oh, okay.
And then I can start seeing perhaps the objects that I already put in there may suggest a mountain range or a shopping center or a skyscraper. So I might think, well, let's maybe push that in that direction. And then I'll leave a lot of space. I like to leave space. And then when everything is solid, is dry, the glue, Then I paint everything with primer, a couple of coats, and then I'll hang it up on the wall, and the shadows on the objects, they'll just begin to tell me what they want for a background. So that's the first thing I paint. Is it might be a night sky, and I'll overlap the objects. It doesn't matter, or it could be a seascape, or it could be underwater, or it could be somebody's room. So once I'm done more or less with the background, then the objects, they really come alive, and then it's like paint by numbers after that. I'll begin to see faces or cars or buildings, whatever, and then I paint them, many hours of a lot of delicate work, using very small brushes toward the end.
So let me interrupt then, if you don't mind. So you glue all these items on. So you would have glued this on,
right?
And this, and the little men down below here. Then you prime everything, meaning the background and all the images that you've glued on.
Exactly.
Then you take a look. You hang it on a wall. You see the shadows,
right.
And that's when you decide what the background is going to be. Okay.
And it might not happen overnight. I might have some of these.
Sleep on it.
Yeah, they might be hanging for a month.
Sure.
Or longer. And then just something clicks, and I finally get an idea of where it's going. But I like to keep that sense of intrigue until almost the very end. And then a title will come into my head. And then it'll start making sense somehow. So I ended up calling this the Peace Phoenix. It actually began with, this was an ornamental broom, and it had the stick that you grab it with, came out in that direction. And, you find them in, like oddball craft stores, and
sure,
somebody
Christmas
was throwing
tree
it
shop
away.
or something. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So somebody was throwing it away, so I cut the broom off, the broom handle, then filed it down to look like a beak, because the whole thing suggested some kind of an odd bird. So
well, let's say what the name of this is. It's called the Peace Phoenix.
Peace Phoenix, and then
so there's the phoenix.
Phoenix rising from the ashes of violence, actually.
But and violence. Thus, this is what I said when you first brought this in today. I said I remember my brothers. I have three older brothers. I remember them playing, setting these little army guys up, in the den on Saturday mornings, and shooting and stuff.
I did the same.
Yes. Okay. So that's what these are. And where did you find these little guys?
Yeah, I found those in a flea market. It was a little plastic bag, and it was like $1, and it was like 100 of them.
Right, 100 of them. I believe you.
The first thing I did was take all their weapons and disarm them with, scissors and files. So I got rid of all their grenades and pistols. And
too bad it wasn't that easy in the,
I know,
in the
I wish
world,
it was.
correct? Yep.
So that's what they became, and they're obviously in awe of this bird. And I don't know, this is a broken tourist plastic replica of the Statue of Liberty, the bottom part. And I just wanted to build something here to balance this out. And I don't know exactly what it means, but there it is.
It's you can interpret it in many ways. It's very cool.
Yeah,
so this was something that you would find in a gift shop somewhere in New York, right? Is what you're
most
saying.
likely.
So okay.
And I found it, I don't know, I don't remember, probably in the trash somewhere.
Right.
Not that I look in the trash, but I'll be driving by, and sometimes there's interesting objects on the side of the road. And I'll stop the car and turn around,
That's.
And many times I find picture frames that way.
Oh, sure. I see a lot of people just throwing those out. Sure. And so you can see this fella climbing up as well.
Yeah.
So you can interpret this many different ways.
Sure.
And all right. So why don't we take a look at some of the artwork that you have that I said that I saw on Facebook. So now, what is this one here that we're looking at?
Yeah, this one it is called Atlas at Last, and it. Like I said before, I don't plan my work, but the figure itself, I think, comes from a plastic trophy of a man playing basketball. So I cut the basketball off. And that upper part is part of a floating, probably from a lobster trap. I'm not sure if I found it on the beach. And I flattened it by cutting it in half. I didn't know why I was doing it, but when I did it, then it looked like the Earth. So I thought, oh, that must be... that's a symbol of Atlas holding up the world, but
But the original atlas, he's holding it on his back as
Yeah.
in, like a lot of pain.
Sure.
So this is that what you mean by atlas at last?
Yeah.
Well, he's able to finally
Right.
get it up? Is
And-
that?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's in my subconscious, I realize, oh, that's symbolic of what I feel is happening on the earth. There's the return of this very positive masculine energy that is following in the wake of the return of this very positive feminine energy that's has been neglected for thousands of years, and women are organizing worldwide, and it's making us all go into our feminine side and to revalue it and to bring it to the surface and go, hey, this is good. We need to call on this beautiful, powerful human energy that's been missing. The American Indians have said that the world has been imbalanced by a very negative masculine energy for several thousand years, and now this sacred feminine energy is returning.
Nice.
So, and men will blossom because of that. And I just really believe that women will be changing the world for the better, and men are waking up to the fact that women need to just come into all the organizations and just bring that energy there and that intuition and that common sense that's been missing. And we find ourselves in endless war. Men are just clashing like rams in the spring. It's like, let's stop headbutting and let's work together. So that's part of what that painting is about. But there's a lot of funny stuff going on in this, like in all of my paintings. There's a sense of humor. And a lot of people smile and actually laugh at my stuff, and which is brings a lot of joy to me. And then I must be doing something right. I don't want to take myself or my art too serious, and so everything should and can be looked at with a grain of salt and in a sense of humor.
You know, and upon looking at your artwork, I noticed. Like you said, there's a lot going on. There's not necessarily just one theme to it. You might have, what I enjoyed doing when going through it, maybe we can take a look at another piece here, is I would look at the title that you gave it and find that theme in there.
Yeah.
But looking at it deeper, anyone can find their own theme, obviously, which is what's so great about art. But you, as you said, you have a lot going on in your pieces. And you mentioned earlier to me when you came in that people that have bought your art have said to you years later, I every day or every time I look at it, I see something different, or I just discovered this.
Yes.
Correct. And I can see how that can happen. There's so many layers, and not just literally.
Yeah.
But, in your mind, you can find these different layers. It's very cool. Let's take a look at this now. Which is this one?
Yeah, this is called Eagle Greetings.
Okay.
And it's about someone that was very close to me that had a tragic death, much too young in life. And this was my way of dealing with the grief. I believe very strongly that we have come from a beautiful home that's full of light and love and energy, and that we come into this world for a short time and then we return. So this is an eagle type of character that's welcoming back. There's a being inside that, there's a craft behind from where I'm sitting. You can't quite see it, but the soul of that, the spirit of that departed child is actually in that craft that they came to this distant planet from. And they're returning to this energetic home, and there's a university where that soul will continue its education about the universe while they don't have a body. It's like sci-fi, but I've read probably 500 to 600 different near-death experiences, and they're all pretty much they say the same thing, about meeting spiritual beings that guide them through tunnels, and they go into this beautiful light, and it's more familiar than home. So anyway, that's always in my subconscious. And it comes out in my paintings one way or another, along with many other beliefs. So,
yeah, you mentioned, from what I read on your artist statement, which you're going to read a little bit later at the close of the show, while we look through some of your art, that through meditation, you have discovered a great deal about yourself. Let me just ask you one thing. Is this a painting here, or is this a shadow box art? That looks like just a painting.
It is. It's pretty much just before I started. So this goes This one goes way back to 1978.
Okay. Oh well, I found it. That popped up somehow. So I apologize for that. Where it's not actually a shadow box art, but it's a beautiful piece.
Thanks.
So to go back to the meditation.
Right. Yeah. About 2 years ago, even longer, my wife and I started meditating once a day, and now we took TM classes, where TM stands for Transcendental Meditation. It's a very, very simple, easy form of meditation. And so we've been doing it at least once a day and many times twice, which is where you get the full benefit. But that's given me the ability to just, it's like we all have what they call the monkey mind, and it's hard to turn that off sometimes.
Explain the monkey mind.
The monkey mind is our everyday conscious thoughts. We're always thinking about what we're going to do next. We're worried about the load of wash that we left in the basement that we have to take out and put in the dryer when we get home. It's all this concern about everyday reality. And it's hard to get rid of that. And sometimes we can't even sleep. So meditating allows that monkey mind to just spin itself out. And all you're doing is repeating this meaningless phrase that they give you when you learn meditation, and you don't even pay attention to it that much, that meaningless phrase, and you don't pay attention to your breathing. You don't have to worry about having all of these thoughts, because your mind actually is unloading by itself. It knows what to do, and after 20 minutes, you find a very, very peaceful a sense of being, and it's hard to say, but the benefits start very slow, and then they become, to some people more than others, they begin to realize the benefits of meditating right away.
Now, how does this help you in your art?
So it helps me in my art. It's almost a similar process, is that I don't plan my paintings, and I'm just letting my monkey mind unwind and not get in the way. And I'm allowing for the flow to happen. And then
it makes sense. I understand.
Right. Yeah,
sure.
Something deeper is
you just sort of open your mind.
taking over.
Now, as an editor, it's a bit of an art. But even when I have a project that I look at and it's overwhelming, it's a lot of footage and a lot of things that I can't use and don't want to use, and pieces that I do want to use, and how am I going to put this all together? And what is going to be the theme of this video that I'm putting together, the story that I'm trying to tell?
Right.
And it really is a lot of letting go. And I do like what you do, but with video footage, and I start piecing it together. You have to just start putting it together in any order. And you know what? It ends up, it clicks.
Yeah.
And I say to myself, that's the theme, that's the story that I'm trying to tell, and that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
So I understand that. I understand about sort of opening your mind, letting it go. You can't think too much about it.
Right.
You just have to let it happen. Let's look at a couple more though.
Sure.
Okay, now this is actually some shadow box
It's
art.
a lot of fun.
Is this actually an old television, or did you just make it look like one?
It's an old television I saw on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work to take it out, take the tube out, and to cut it free from the large plastic box that it was.
That's one of those old time ones with the big back in it, right?
Yeah. And it was a lot of work, and it really, once I had the box set up, then the first object to go in it is a spray can that had been flattened by cars. And I actually showed it to my brother, and he said, it looks like it could be like one of those crusade soldiers. And so I ended up gluing an odd object, looks like a man's head with a beard, and he's holding a sword, which actually comes from an old printer. You know, it coincides with the Iraq War, and I didn't know it, but the figure was Bush, the president.
The little
Yeah.
the little dude up top
Yeah,
there.
I don't know
Okay.
why. He just seemed to be Bush, and he's getting run over by his own policy.
Interesting.
Invading Iraq. I don't know. That's what I ended up seeing.
Okay.
But if you don't analyze it that way, it's just so much fun to try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's a really fun piece. Now, how big is something like that?
Yeah, that one's, it's about 20.
So it's a pretty big size television.
24 by 18, I think. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at another one.
Oh yeah, I like a lot. This one's a lot of fun.
Is that Shadowbox art right there, or is that a painting?
It's definitely a Shadowbox.
Yeah, it's hard to tell
Right.
from this view. I remember looking at this one on Facebook.
Yeah, Time for a Kite.
Yeah, I like it.
But I found a lot of those things at the beach, driftwood and oddball pieces of foam that come from probably those buoys that are part of lobster traps.
Yeah.
Who knows? And including the kite itself is a piece of foam, that rubbery foam. And just one thing fell into another, and that's my stepson's karate plastic trophy.
Because I was going to say
And he was throwing it out. So I said,
yeah.
and he said, oh, go right ahead, use it. And
The
I
reason-
just thought he fit in there perfect. And it looked like he was holding a string.
The reason why I like the name of it, Time for a Kite, is he
Yeah.
looks like this manly man, and he's doing something so gentle and, time for a kite. Like he had to take a break, this manly guy.
And
That's
cool.
how I saw it.
Very
Yeah, very cool.
to do that. So again, that's that same positive masculine energy that,
Yes.
that all the guys need to develop. Is that don't be afraid of your soft side, of your need to cry and have emotions. It's like, to me, that's manly.
Yeah.
It's a new macho.
Sure it is.
To be non-violent is actually more courageous, more macho,
Absolutely.
more masculine, because it's
You're more
like
vulnerable.
you're this incredible caretaker. You break up a fight, you don't make a fight.
I like it.
And that's not easy because of our indoctrinations.
Right, because you're not considered masculine.
And our fear of being gay.
Absolutely.
Or, oh, you're so wussy. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's time to,
No, it's like I said, it's vulnerable. It's far more vulnerable than opening yourself up,
Right.
which men are not supposed to do. They're supposed to hold it all in.
Right. It's like, it's good. It's good to be a whole person,
Yeah, all those sides are there. Yeah.
Why be a shallow, mistreating misogynist? It's like, come on.
Bravo. Well said. I like it. I'm not going to disagree.
All this trumpery going on.
Trump. All right, let's not go there.
It has nothing to do. Look up the word trumpery.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with.
But no, I got it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get out there now. So
Sure.
you have an art show coming up soon.
Yes.
Or it's actually going on now. So
March 7th is the official opening. I'm exhibiting with 3 other eccentric artists that are a lot of fun.
And where is this?
And this is in Ashburnham at the library. And the opening is March 7th from 6 to 8. It's free. There'll be some hors d'oeuvres. And it should be great conversations.
Now, is this going to be ongoing, though? Or is
Yeah,
it
it'll
just
be
one
up for at least
Okay.
a month.
Okay, good.
And
Okay, good.
very nice people there. And
Will there be some information on how people can purchase your art as well?
yeah, so there'll be contacts
Great.
For all of us. And Stevens Memorial Library.
Okay.
And it's a great building, nice people, good time.
Okay, good. So so the address is, people are just going to Google it, so.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know the
Google
actual
Maps.
address.
Okay.
But,
All right, that's fine. So it's the
yeah.
Ashburnham Library.
Yeah.
It opened on March 7th. It's going to be running for a month.
Right.
People can see your art. It's far more gorgeous
Yeah,
in person. And so now you're going to read the artist statement
Sure.
for us at the close, and
Yeah.
we're going to, a little bit of your music will be playing in the
Right.
background while you read it.
Right, it's an instrumental piece that it's my own composition called Catacomb.
Okay.
And it's very deep and beautiful, and it's performed on a 20-string acoustic electric instrument that I called the fire harp. And I don't play it anymore because of a carpal tunnel problem that I just couldn't overcome. And it's okay, I had to let it go. I had been playing for 32 years at that point.
So we're going to hear it right now
Yeah.
while you read your artist statement, and
Right.
we're going to see some images of your Shadowbox art. Okay, deep and beautiful, just like you. Nice to
Thank
meet
you,
you,
Patty.
Den.
This
Take
is
care. Okay, thanks a lot for coming on.
All right, here's my artist's statement. The ego seeks to divide and separate. Spirit seeks to unify and heal, to make whole. Unity through diversity is one of the themes underlying my art. Diverse found objects are chanced together with glue in my homemade Shadowbox frames. Everything's primed in white. A background is chosen, such as outer space, a seascape, or a blue sky. Then comes the meticulous detailing of found objects in the foreground. Somehow this self-discovered technique initiates my creative process, which helps me to bypass the conscious monkey mind, and a deeper source is called upon to unify everything with a sense of mystery and beauty. Pre-planning is thrown out the window. It would spoil the fun. Practicing meditation for the last 2 years has enhanced my creativity, enabled my ability to go with the flow, helped connect my subconscious mind to my conscious mind, and overall has uplifted and enlightened the shadows that are part of my spirit. I have befriended my so-called dark side, but that's okay because dark matter makes up over 90% of the universe. The word matter, taken from mater, means mother. The great universal mother-father is the source, also known in physics as the unified field. Therefore, everything matters. This concept is echoed by American Indians when they have said that everything is sacred, everything has a spirit. Thus, all forms are significant, and an artist's job is to show the world their own version of how significant forms truly are, or can be, if we apply even a wee bit of our imagination. I've been exploring art since the age of 5. It's what got me through the school system of the 50s and 60s. Art and the entire universe is all about the expression of the intelligent energy of love, which permeates everything. So, as you look at my art, let your heart be your guide, nurture your sense of awe, and don't forget your sense of humor, because honestly, most of my stuff is downright funny. Ha ha!